In the 14th century, Europe was hit by a devastating pandemic known as the Black Death. This disease, also known as the bubonic plague, swept through the continent, killing millions of people and forever changing the course of history. The Black Death was caused by a bacterium called Yersinia pestis, which was transmitted to humans through the bites of infected fleas. The symptoms of the disease included swollen lymph nodes, or BOEs, high fever, and extreme fatigue. The disease was highly contagious and had a high mortality rate, with many people dying within just a few days of becoming infected. The Black Death spread rapidly throughout Europe, carried by trade routes and human travel. It struck cities and towns with equal ferocity, and it left a trail of death and destruction in its wake. The bodies of the dead were often thrown into mass graves, as there were not enough people left to bury them. To try to protect themselves from the disease, many people resorted to wearing masks with a long beak that contained herbs and spices. These masks were believed to ward off the disease, but they were largely ineffective. As the Black Death raged on, people became increasingly panicked and desperate. Some people turned to superstitious practices, such as burning suspected plague victims in the hope of purging the disease. Others turned to religious practices, seeking salvation through prayer and devotion. As the death toll mounted, many people fled the cities in search of safety. They wandered the countryside, often carrying the disease with them, and spreading it to new areas. The Black Death had a profound and lasting impact on Europe, and it changed the course of history in many ways. The Black Death decimated the population of Europe, killing an estimated 25 to 30% of the population. This had a major impact on the economy and society, as there were fewer people to work the land and produce goods. The shortage of labor led to higher wages and better working conditions for those who survived, and it also contributed to the rise of the middle class. The Black Death also led to significant advances in medicine and public health. Plague doctors were trained to treat the disease, and they developed new techniques and technologies to help combat the spread of the plague. These advances would pave the way for further progress in the field of medicine, and they helped to reduce the impact of future epidemics. The Black Death also had a major impact on religion and belief. Many people turned to religion in the face of the disaster, seeking solace and salvation. The Church played a major role in providing care and support to the sick and dying, and it also helped to disseminate information about the disease and how to prevent its spread. The Black Death left a deep and enduring scar on the history of Europe, and it is still remembered and studied to this day. Many cities and towns have monuments or plaques that commemorate the victims of the disease, and they serve as a reminder of the devastating impact of the bubonic plague. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of the Black Death. We hope you've learned something new and gained a deeper appreciation for this devastating pandemic and its lasting impact on Europe. Today, thanks to advances in medicine and public health, we are much better equipped to combat and prevent the spread of diseases like the bubonic plague. But it is important to remember the lessons of the past, and to remain vigilant in protecting ourselves and our communities from the threat of epidemics. Until next time, goodbye.